Hey Bulldog fans, I'm Haley Sue Harbison and welcome to the Bulldog Blitz. At the end of a hard-fought overtime game, the Samford football team was unfortunately defeated by one touchdown Saturday in their matchup against ETSU. Some fumbles and interceptions along with costly defensive errors were the downfall of the Bulldogs. But the day was not all loss. Quarterback Liam Welch set records for both Samford and the SoCon with 582 passing yards while also leading the game in rushing with 73 yards. Montrell Washington caught 10 passes for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Chandler Smith caught 11 passes for 124 yards for the Bulldogs. Samford women's soccer team opened SoCon play this weekend, defeating VMI 3-0. Kylie Gaza scored the Bulldogs' first goal with an assist by Nikki Barrio. Mary Raymond scored a goal in the second half, and Kyla Reynolds scored the third goal with an assist from Audrey Kleiman. The team was also victorious against the UNCG Spartans with a final score of 3-0 to close out family weekend festivities. Samford women's tennis team held the first of 2 round robins this weekend, hosting Central Arkansas, Lipscomb, and South Alabama. Samford players posted a combined record of 16-8 in singles and 7-5 in doubles. Samford hosts the second round robin this weekend of October the 8th. The Samford volleyball team opened up SoCon play Friday with a 3-0 victory at home against the Wofford Terriers. Then on Saturday, the team won the Battle of the Bulldogs, winning the match 3-1 over the Citadel. After falling to the Citadel in the first set, the Bulldogs gained momentum and went on to run, winning the next 3 sets back-to-back. Kenny McWhorter led the team in kills with 14, followed by Sarah Hayes Farley with 10. Setter Kayla Keyshock recorded 46 assists, tying her season high. Last weekend was Family Weekend at Samford University. Carson Hungerford spoke with some athletes and their families about their weekend.
This past weekend was Samford's annual Family Weekend. Families from all over the world came to visit and attend Samford sporting events on campus. Family Weekend allows for Samford families to come together and build community with others.
It's nice to be a part of Brett's little dream at the moment in his life. He's getting a great education here and playing the sport that he loves, so it's great that we can support that.
I also spoke to the parents of Kate Morgan, a freshman on the volleyball team, to hear about their experience with Family Weekend this year.
We're here for Family Weekend and super excited to get to come see our daughter Kate.
We live in Texas, so we really don't know much about Samford other than the very short visits we've had here. We're not aware of the history or a lot of the traditions that go on here. The families that are here are really much about it all. We have no connection other than a few people who maybe know another person who went or taught here. So it's been really enlightening. It's been fun. It's been neat to see where our daughter goes to school. To see the families and their children that she associates with, to kind of get a feel for the culture here, to see what it's like, but especially to meet the other people that she's with day to day. That's been the best, and it truly is nice that it's called Family Weekend because it's like a huge family is what she's a part of. And that's been really comforting because I think as a parent, you're always concerned about where your child's going to go away, where she's going to live, how she's going to make it. And when you see a warm and inviting environment, a place to school that makes her happy, then that's very comforting because it's for us. It's about 800 miles away. We can't just get here in a moment's notice. But Samford's been fantastic, and this weekend has been excellent for just making us feel reassured that we've made the right decision, and in turn she has as well.
So this weekend we got to see Kate play volleyball. Samford started their conference play and won both games, their first 2 matches. This weekend we got to see the great energy with the football game and the football team playing. I lost in overtime, we heard, but all of the cheers were fantastic.
Family Weekend means a lot for Samford students, but a little more for the student athletes and their families. With the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Carson Hungerford. Back to you, Haley Sue.
A familiar face returned to the Samford soccer field this weekend. Lindsay Cagle has the story.
Grace Somi, a pretty familiar name associated with the Samford women's soccer team, is going into her 5th year as a Bulldog. While she has been a standout player over her years with the program, she has had to overcome some obstacles along the way.
It was just a practice, and I took a step going in for a ball and kind of heard the pop, and I knew exactly what had happened just because I had done this before in high school. So it it was kind of one of those things where once you do it once, you kind of know what happens. So
Somi tore her ACL last fall, while the team was awaiting to hear if they would be having a 2020-2021 season. When the team was told they were going to have a spring season, Grace knew she would not be playing, but was still happy that her teammates got to have a season amongst the chaos of the pandemic.
You know, Grace is the old lady of the team these days, right? But incredibly thankful that she came back for an extra year, and I just respect her tremendously for her character and her leadership. And I mean, even last year when she was injured and dealing with her ACL, I took her on the road for every one of our trips, and I don't normally do that, but I thought that that's how important she is to the group.
Coach Yelton said that there is not a harder working kid than Grace. With it being her second time having to overcome this injury, it was no surprise to anyone that she was able to come back as fast as she did and be playing at the level that she is right now.
it was definitely easier this time just because I knew what was ahead of me, and just because of like all the girls on the team and the support I had just from like the coaching staff and the athletic trainers, the PTs, everyone was there for me like every step of the way, no matter what. Every high, every low, they were there to like pick me up.
I don't think people can really wrap their head around coming back from an ACL in the time period she did and playing at the level that she's playing at right now, how hard that is.
It was definitely the first few games I was like, okay, I got to get back into it, and just getting used to like being back playing soccer and in games was definitely like a little bit of an adjustment, but it's definitely super fun to be back out there and just not taking anything for granted because, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
With the soccer team having just started in conference play this past weekend, Grace Somi is looking to have a great season ahead of her. From Samford University, this is Lindsay Cagle with the Bulldog Blitz.
The Samford men's tennis team will host the second Samford Invite on Friday, October 1st through Sunday the 3rd at the Samford Tennis Center. After strong performances from sophomore Matthew Gooch and freshman Will Gray in the first Samford Invite, the Bulldogs look to pick up more wins in the upcoming Invitational. The Samford football team heads to Georgia this Saturday to take on their arch rival Mercer in an early must-win game. Mercer is coming off of a huge 24-3 win on the road against Furman. In order for the Bulldogs to win this game, the defense will need to be able to stop a strong running attack led by Fred Davis and Brandon Marshall. Samford and Mercer will kick off at the 5-Star Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Exciting news for basketball fans in the city of Birmingham. The new NBA G League team, the Birmingham Squadron, has announced their schedule for their inaugural season. The Squadron will start the season in their first ever matchup against the Greensboro Swarm on Friday, November 5th, and their first home game is set for Sunday, December 5th against Mexico City at the BJCC Legacy Arena. The Birmingham Squadron are affiliated with the NBA's New Orleans Pelicans. Samford's volleyball team will take a North Carolina road trip this upcoming weekend as the Bulldogs square off with the UNC Greensboro on Friday and Western Carolina on Saturday. Look for Samford kill leader Kenya McWhorter to play a big role in the offense in this doubleheader, as well as Kate Morgan, who is averaging just over 3 digs a set on defense. Samford soccer also has 2 road games this weekend against Mercer on Friday and the Citadel on Sunday. The Bulldogs are undefeated in SoCon play and have not allowed any goals in conference games. Senior keeper Morgan McCaslin has 33 saves, and Alyssa Frazier and Taylor Yount continue to lead the offense with their strong performances, which Samford will need to continue in its pursuit of yet another SoCon championship. To wrap up today's show, Caroline Spike spoke with the unsung athletes of Samford University, the cheerleading squad.
Samford football had a game on Saturday, but they weren't the only ones who called it game day. The cheer squad was also there and brought the energy, igniting the atmosphere in Cybert Stadium for the Samford versus ETSU football game. Though the day was full of smiles and pom-poms, there was a lot more that went into it than meets the eye. Rachel Logney went into further depth regarding the preparation for game day.
We work really hard to make sure we look our best so that we can represent Samford to the best of our abilities. We have practice 2 to 3 times a week, many hours a day. We have 2 or more workouts every single week, very, very early in the morning. If you get up at 5 o'clock, you'll see us out on campus running. We have game days every Saturday for football. We also support volleyball and other sports if we can. We cheer all men's and women's home basketball games, travel to the SoCon tournament.
With any given sport comes injury. However, this team does not have any bench warmers eager to jump in if a player gets hurt. There are set formations and stunts with a certain number of athletes in mind. The team depends on how one takes care of themselves individually and not just the week of a big game.
It is a 365-day sport. We're always continuing to better ourselves, to better our team. It's not an individual sport, although you are working to make yourself better, but it is a team sport. You're doing your pyramids together, doing your tumbling sequences together, and on off season, your summer break, you're always conditioning, always making your jumps better, your tumbling better, how you are strength-wise, all of that. Injuries do happen, and they happen a lot.
All year round, these athletes improve on tumbling passes, unique stunting sequences, along with new choreography. Cheer does not have a designated season and off-season. When there's a sport, there's cheer. They continue to not only represent the cheer squad, but all of Samford's athletics as well. Despite their consistent lack of recognition, the team continues to stay humble and work hard no matter the cost.
Sometimes it does get tough because we work so hard, and it's not always recognized, but we don't do it for the recognition. We do it because we want Samford to look its best, and we know that we're ambassadors for the university. And having lived that life, 3 and 4 years ago to now coaching, I can bring that to the table and say, girls and guys, you may not always get a pat on the back, but that's life. You won't always get recognized, but you should always do your best even when no one's watching. And we're all about building character here as well as becoming our best selves in the classroom, outside of the classroom, representing Samford in our spiritual lives. So I think Samford Cheer is very unique compared to any other program. I think it's a really special place to be. We've got a lot of special people here, and I'm just blessed to work with such amazing athletes.
Regardless of the team's commitment, they had to wait for weeks to find out if they're given the opportunity to cheer at this upcoming game at Mercer. When Coach Logney shared the news, anyone would be able to tell how much this program truly means to them. I think it's safe to say the game day atmosphere would simply not feel the same without our proud cheerleaders on the sidelines. From Samford University, this is Caroline Spikes with the Bulldog Blitz.
That's all for today's show. On behalf of the rest of the crew, I'm Haley Sue Harbison, and thanks for joining us on the Bulldog Blitz.